There are about 3 major ones and 4 major ones in Canada, and all one of them have pulled out. They've sent us an email. As a mortgage broker in Alberta, I got an email saying we're no longer accepting applications, which means they're no longer looking for new business. So those types of lenders are for people that don't have quite the good credit rating and maybe don't have enough income, and so they're excellent for in the areas, especially in debt consolidation or a little bit of trouble areas. They're great. But if they're gone, and 3 of them, all but 1 of them, are gone. So if you wait too long to get the financing against your house, and if they're calling you and if they're trying to collect on you, you've missed the payments, guess what? There may not be financing for you. The only type of financing that is readily available still out there, and there's some great stuff available, is with the banks and trust companies. So if you're going to get a loan from them, you got to have good credit. So if you wait too long, your credit starts going down the tubes and they start coming after you, guess what? You might not be able to get financing against your property in order to take care of those debts and reduce your payments. That would be disastrous, because effectively the only route of choice, route of action that you could take at that time is to sell your property. And that's a pain in the tuchus, you know that. So the best idea, the best solution to this problem is to consolidate and reduce your payments now with a mortgage. Okay? The mortgage is effective in 2 major ways. 1 is to reduce your payments, and 2, with some of the reduction, you can take some of that reduction and you can put it towards your mortgage and pay it off a lot quicker using the RAM method that I have on my website. Okay? I'm not going to talk about it right now. You can check it out on my website. But what happens with a mortgage is you can take your payments. For instance, let's say you had $40,000 in credit cards and loans and whatever other stuff you had, and your payments are $1,200 a month on that. If you've got payments of $1,200 a month on that and you put it into a mortgage, well, you can reduce your payments depending on your interest rate and so on, but you can effectively reduce your payments to as little as $200 a month. If you reduce your payments by $200 a month and they were at $1,200, well, it's easy to see that you'd be reducing your payments by $1,000 a month. Okay, now when I started out in this business, those 20-some-odd years ago, this is what I did. I reduced people's payments, and there's a lot of other companies out there that's all they do as well. As far as I'm concerned, that's a bit of a Neanderthal, knuckle-dragging sort of way of helping people out of their credit issues, but it's very, very short-lived. And the reason why I say that is because, okay, if you reduce somebody's payments by $1,000 a month, which is great for them, they may have to do it, they may want to do it, but what happens is you're stretching that repayment period out over a much longer period of time than what they had on their credit cards and loans to begin with. But it is effective at reducing the payments, so that's what we do. So in this event, we reduce the payments by $1,000 a month. If you use the RAM method, you can take either all of that $1,000 a month. If you're not in a position where you're required to have a little bit of breathing space right now, you could go ahead and you could take that whole $1,000 a month and roll it right back onto your mortgage. And it'll blow off your mortgage in about 1/3 the regular time, the way that you've got it scheduled right now. I know it sounds a little counterintuitive, but if you it's simply a re-engineering of your debts. You do a re-engineering, consolidate your debts, and then take some of the reduction of that payment back onto the mortgage. You'll pay off everything way, way faster. And you can see some examples on my website, ramyourdebt.com. So you've reduced the payments, and now you can either roll it all back onto the debt if you want to, or you can go the other way and just keep the $1,000 a month, which is the way a lot of people do it. And I don't teach them that anymore. I say, well, what you want to do is take some of that. Maybe you need a little bit of relief right now. Perhaps you haven't had a steak dinner in a while. You're feeling the pressure. You haven't been able to do things with your family that you'd like to have done and would like to do. So what you do is you take that $1,000, you take $500 of that $1,000, and you roll it back onto your debt and have it eliminate your debt very, very quickly. The other $500, where does that go? Well, that goes in your pocket. Okay? So, twofold, you reduce your payments by $500 a month. You got that extra $500 a month in your pocket to give you some breathing space, and you can put $500 a month back onto your mortgage, what will pay it off decades faster than what you've got happening right now. The average right now, I'd say, is about 9.2 years that we pay off all of people's debts. We get them on the schedule to pay them everything off, including their mortgage, in 9.2 years. And generally speaking, most people are up around 25, and there's people, of course, out there with mortgages of 30, 35, and 40-year amortizations now, although the federal government has cut it back to 35 years. So instead of having it 35 years, you can pay it off in 9.2. Wouldn't that be a lot better? And guess what? You're going to save yourself over $100,000. And then you take that money and invest it. But that's another story. If you want to find out more about the RAM method, which is the roll down accelerator method, you can see that on my website at ramyourdebt.com. That's RAMYOURDEBT.com, of course. Just go there, and I've got tons of information, tons of tips, helpful information to help you reduce your payments quickly. And I've even got a calculator on there, so if you want to see how fast your debts will be paid by using the RAM method, you can do that. So that's all on there. But for right now, I'm going to say goodbye, and thanks for listening. Have a great day.